So when Will Smith got mad at Chris Rock and like punched him in the face, and he's like, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." I got a similar sort of DM, but not about somebody's wife, just about them. I'm not going to say who they are, but suffice to say, on Twitter, I got this DM from a person who's, I'm not going to read it, but they basically say, because they've never mentioned me in any of their writing or on social media, that I need to back the fuck off. Which is an interesting thing to say, because I didn't realize that I wasn't allowed to engage with people unless they said my name. Like I'm Beetlejuice or something. I gotta wait until somebody says my name 3 times and then I can appear. And until then, I'm not allowed to respond to somebody's, online blog post or whatever. I will never be able to write about anybody ever again because people generally don't say my name that much. So that's an interesting way to start. Then they basically accuse me of, because I mentioned them, that's encouraging harassment and abuse online. Again, I would just suggest that perhaps the things that this person is writing about might be one of the reasons they're getting the hate and abuse, and you can't hide behind that. You can't say, well, I've written this very, very opinionated thing that insults a bunch of people, and now I'm getting hatred and abuse. And if you say something that's not harassment or abuse, but that disagrees with what I've written, then you're encouraging all this abuse. It's your fault that I'm getting abused online. It has nothing to do with what I've written. It's just you talking about me. That's so chicken shit, first of all. It sucks that harassment happens online. I highly recommend just blocking people if that's what's happening. I know that these people do block people all the time. How I've had to block people, I have no qualms about that. But if you're going to be in a field where you write opinions that are strong opinions and that are critical of other people and groups of people, then you are probably going to have, that just comes with the territory. And if that's too much to deal with, then you should probably find a different line of work. And same thing is, if you can't handle other people in the business criticizing you or responding to you, criticizing what you've written or what you've said, then you need to find a different job. Because in the grown-up world, where presumably we're all trying to live, I know it's video games and whatnot, but you don't get to make an opinion, publish that opinion, and then say, you're not allowed to talk about it if you're going to say things that disagree with it. I think it's fair to expect some level of decorum. Like, if somebody writes an argument, you shouldn't go after them based on their appearance or other irrelevant things. Then this person calls me a moderate, says that I can't understand all this harassment stuff because I'm so far up my moderate ass. Moderate's such an interesting insult because first of all, if I were a moderate, calling me a moderate wouldn't be an insult. But if I'm not a moderate, then calling me a moderate is also not an insult. It's such a weird thing to say. It's like accusing someone of being a liberal when they're a liberal, or a conservative when they're like, I just don't get it. Also, I'm not a moderate. I don't think personally that my politics are moderate. I think that my approach to discussing cultural and political issues is one that attempts civility and discussion rather than like cancellation and destruction, right? Like, I just believe that there's a better way to approach other ideas and other people. That doesn't make me a moderate. I believe in, socialized healthcare. I'm pro-union, right? And plus, like, you can have a bunch of different, like, conflicting ideas. That doesn't make you a moderate. Like, moderate means that you're right in the center of, like, this amorphous left and this amorphous right. And I just did them the wrong way. What does that mean? What does that say about me? Anyways, I think there's this whole cadre of people in the press, in the gaming press, all over, who think that they are so self-righteous and so smart and so holier than thou that they can say and do whatever they want, and nobody is allowed to push back, even in the mildest mannered way. And if somebody does push back, they're allowed to go and attack you viciously and sick their followers on you, even if you've only said a very mild thing to them. And then the problem becomes is that when that fight starts, then a bunch of people come in and attack them, and then they say, see, that's your fault. Isn't that sneaky as fuck? I don't know. That seems so sneaky and disingenuous. But there's this whole, I don't know, narcissistic cabal of people that have sort of taken over a lot of the culture, even beyond journalism, right? A lot of the culture has been taken over by narcissists and people who are just so sure that what they're doing is the righteous path. And those are the kind of people that I find very dangerous and honestly a little childish. And children, if a child walks into a brittle forest with a blowtorch, that child is dangerous, right? That's a weird analogy. I don't know why I thought of that, but the point is that you can be both like a danger to I don't know. Is it danger? I mean, I think that they can cause a lot of mayhem and havoc. And honestly, maybe they're just a danger to themselves. Maybe that's the childish analogy. Because you can look at stuff like, Game Informer, right? Game Informer, of all places, was just shut down by GameStop. That's crazy to me, for one. I just didn't see them going out this soon because they're backed by GameStop. But then again, GameStop has been in a downward spiral. But you've seen a lot of closures of video game publications. And I really, really think that a big part of that is what we've seen happen in gaming journalism. And not just with the whole ethics and journalism stuff, but with this, and I've said this before, but with this uniformity of opinion, where every single, and I don't think Game Informer was even that big of a sinner in this regard, right? Kotaku and The Gamer and a lot of like Polygon, there's a lot of other places that are much worse at this. But the reality is it's spread throughout most of games journalism and much further afield than games journalism, throughout all journalism. And it's this, whatever you want to call it, extreme wokeism, social justice warrioring. But even that, like, I'm not saying that you're a bad person if you have those beliefs, if you're very, very left-wing, very right-wing. Like, I don't think that inherently makes you bad. What's bad is when everybody starts having the same beliefs and everybody starts parroting the same opinions. And then when there's any pushback, I'm like one of the few people that writes about video games and pushes back about this shit. Outside of people who are just making YouTube videos, right? You get that tiny bit of pushback from someone who's not, one of these right wings places like Bounding Into Comics or whatever. And those places are ridiculous also. But you get a tiny bit of pushback and the response is, fuck you. You are a terrible human being. You're not allowed to say my name or talk about me. And the only reason I'm not actually saying this person's name is because I'm not sure I want to engage on that level or in that way. I'm not sure it's worth it for me personally. But I will say this, that if I don't care who you are, if you write an article and I think it's stupid, or I think you make bad arguments, or I think that you're being disingenuous, or I think that you are unfairly targeting someone, or whatever the reason is, I am free to respond to that. And I will respond to that if I want to. And in a way that I think is hopefully persuasive and is not personally attacking anyone. Maybe sometimes I do get a little heated. I got a little heated with The Gamer in particular. That website published some stuff that was truly reprehensible. And I think they deserved a very, very, very stern finger wagging. But generally speaking, I try to keep it professional. And that's what I'm not, since I've started in video game writing for 13, 14 years or whatever it's been, since the very beginning, people have tried to bully me and scare me and cancel me or whatever you want to call it. They want me to shut up. Not because I'm like even saying anything crazy or trying to get anybody fired or anything like that. They just don't want pushback. It's just arrogance. It's just this arrogance that we are too righteous to have, our ideas are so perfect that if anyone disagrees with them, and actually says it out loud, they are sinners who must be thrown into the pit of despair. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. House of the Dragon's coming up. I'm going to try to get a finale review out. I've been really excited for this, and I haven't watched any of the spoilers because there was leaked. I really thought it looked like there was a big battle coming, but now seeing what Ryan Condal said at Comic-Con, I'm thinking maybe there isn't, and that would be really disappointing. So I'm preparing myself for disappointment there. Sorry, I took a little mental health break. I think I have some form of bipolar disorder. Because I will go strong. I will be so good. And then I crash into these crazy lows, and I'll be stuck in this horrible depression for, a week or 2 weeks or a month, 2 months. This one was only like a little over a week. So that's good. But it's usually kind of related to, sometimes the trigger is if I get sick or I get injured and then I can't exercise, because I use exercise as a way to keep my stability and my mood up, and then I won't be able to do that, and then I'll find myself just falling, and it sucks. Mental health is a weird thing because people, I think, really talk about it too much these days, and they're always using it as an excuse these days. But I also think it's good that people talk about it. It's not your identity though. The whole I can't even think what they call it now. But I think so many people wear it as a badge of honor, but it's not. Mental health or mental illness sucks a lot, and it can absolutely destroy your life. So don't think of it as a good thing. Think of it as an illness, and illnesses should be cured. So you should get help. And I'm a hypocrite for saying that because I'm terrible at getting help. But I'm sorry. I hate it. I'm on a roll. I have all these videos and then I just disappear. And often the case is some form of I've crashed into a deep dark hole and have to crawl out of it again. And then here I am, and I'm doing fine. Yay. But thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll have that House of the Dragon review out soon, and then some other stuff. I still need to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. We got Rings of Power coming up, and I've seen some other really cool shows and stuff. So there's lots to talk about, and we will talk about it. So shout out in the comments, and thank you again. Peace.